Welcome to Barb's Craft Room. It's been a while since I've made a video, but I just had these great ideas, and I've had company for about a month. It was so nice visiting with my sisters from California. They came here to Tennessee to visit. It was very nice, and I spent all my time with my sisters, and I did not come in the craft room, but we did do crafts. But I took them downstairs and crafted down there. Anyway, I made something real quick for my sister, and I wanted to share how I did that with you. So I have this little bag. We went shopping and I found this little bag. I've saved every bag that we got so I can make any size of what I'm going to show you. This bag is about 7 7/8 by 5 1/8, and it has a handle, but I'm going to take the handle off on one side of these. You have to do it very carefully so that you don't rip the bag. So let's see if I can do it without ripping the bag. It's not always easy, but I'm going to do it, and I'll show you why. Inside, I'm going to try and leave the paper that's in here, because trying to get it out, it's inside of the sewed line here, or glued line, or whatever, and it would be a mess. So I'm just trying to get the handle out. Ta-da! The handle's out. See, there's still a piece of paper there, which is fine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that handle and I'm going to glue it. Let's see. Take these extra papers off. The last time I did this, I actually was able to take the paper without tearing the bag. But I'm going to do it this way instead. So we're going to put it like this. Get all this excess paper off so you don't see it. The little line that you keep seeing in here is my recording. Then I'm going to take a piece of tape. I just have regular Scotch tape. I'm going to tape it down so the handle is going to remain on the bag. So it's like that now. See that? We will use this one as a pocket, but I'm going to glue inside here so that you can make it so it's all the way, or you can make it so it's just a small pocket. It's really up to you. I'm going to glue the back side here. Maybe. Depending on if I can get my glue open. I left my one glue upside down and it all leaked out. Don't leave your glue upside down. And all of these, when you don't use them, they stick in the bottle. So let's see what I can do to get one of these open. Oh, that one came all the way off. Goodness gracious. Not fun. Let's see. All these mini bottles If you don't use them, you lose them. How about that? They glue themselves to each other. Well, I should have been prepared for that, but I wasn't. Anyway, I do have a let's see if I can get that. Oh, there we go. And it's only going to glue it to there. And then I'm going to glue inside of here to keep that shut. And then right along the edge of this to keep that shut. So I have that. And then I turn it around. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Inside here. And inside there. So now I have a little pocket here. Not much. If you don't want a pocket here, just glue the whole thing down. But I have a little pocket there. Then on this side, what I'm going to do is take a piece of paper and I'm going to cover this. I'm going to just cover a little. So cut it like that and cut it like that. That will cover this. And that's how I measured. Nothing, no fancy measuring. Just fold and cut. Get as close as you want, as big as you want. As wide as you want. And you're not going to see this anyway. It's just going to cover that handle. I'm going to glue along the handle. Look at that. That thing didn't stay, did it? Well, no, it didn't. Gonna try and make it stay. What a joke. These little bottles aren't what they cracked up to be, now are they? Oh, for Pete's sake. So much for being prepared with a bottle of glue. I'm still going to make it work. And always have your handy dandy baby wipes available to wipe off glue off of your hands and ink and whatever else you want to wipe off. So I'm going to try this little glue thing again. This is how you make a mistake on camera and show everybody that you're normal. You're not the only one that has issues with glue bottles or and the like, right? You know? Bought all these brand new bottles. Ouch. Because I was having problems. And I put this little rubber tip on it. So now it's closed for now. Okie doke. Now I'm going to use a piece of fabric, and I'm going to just tear it. So tear it just slightly larger than my bag. I chose this fabric because it was neutral. And then I'm going to cut it just slightly larger this way. And I do it slightly larger because sometimes when you tear it, it tears smaller. Go figure, right? So here I have my fabric, right? And the glue I'm going to use, you have options. You can glue with Mod Podge. You can glue with a craft glue. You can glue with Fabri-Tac. You can glue with tacky glue. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to show you a way to use tacky glue. Maybe. Sorry for the squeak. Tacky glue. And you will need like a credit card or something firm like a credit card. I had a business card here. And when you put this on, if you put it on too thick or in lines, it shows up on your fabric. It's very slow. It's slower than slow. Aleene's Tacky Glue. You don't want it too thick on here. You can do the same thing with Fabri-Tac. I just was going to give you a different option here. Apparently, it doesn't want to come out. I'm batting 100, aren't I? Huh. Okay, I'll try something else then. I'm going to use a Scotch Mega Glue Stick. I'm going to glue it. Comes out purple. This is a no-sew, but if you choose to sew it, you will sew your bag closed. So you don't want to do that. And then I'm going to use some Fabri-Fix along the edge because I want it to stay. I want it to be permanent. And actually my Fabri-Fix is actually working. I don't have a problem with Fabri-Fix. If you decide to use all of it with Fabri-Fix like this, then what you want to do is you want to take your credit card and smooth it out so that you don't have lines on your fabric. And that's okay. It's okay to smooth it out. There we go. beautiful fabric cover. It's a little bit larger than the book itself, which can be cut, and even if you cut it, it will still eventually fray because it's fabric, and that's what fabric does. It doesn't have to be, torn to make that look. It'll do it like that. It'll eventually do it anyway because it's fabric. Okay, and it's a handle. Make sure if you have a fabric that is directional, that you actually put the direction correctly. This one has the direction this way, so I'm going to make sure this is the front, and then my pocket is on the inside. I'm going to do something a little bit different, and that is I cut these papers for this book. I cut them at 7 by 4 3/4, and I cut some of them are lined paper, and the way I cut them made it perfect to use the line as you're supposed to. I'll show you here. So these are 7 by 4 and 7 and 1/8 or something like that. They're just slightly smaller than the book. And I fold them in half. And you can sew these in. You can staple them in. You can choose however you want to put them in your book, like that. And I am going to sew them in really quick because sewing doesn't take long at all. It's very simple and it's very firm. So to measure, I measure 3 times the length of the book, like that, not the length, the width of the book. Cut my string. I have a sewing needle. It's actually, I think they're darning needles. Some of them have super big holes, and some of them have not so big holes. You can use any, but if you use the super big holes, you might have a problem with the threads coming out. So I use this medium hole right there. And I don't pull it all the way through. I just pull it some way, so it's 2 lengths. And then I put them in my book. No perfection here. Don't worry about perfection. I do have a clip or 2 that will help me hold them. That helps me hold the paper in place so they don't slip and slide while I'm sewing them in. And this is how I do it. I poke a hole pretty much in the middle, and then I put my needle through. I poke another hole kind of halfway between that, and then I'm going to put the needle from the back through to the front. And then I'm going to put the third hole, and from the front to the back. And then I'm going to go up through the first hole again, and hopefully they will all the papers will remain in place for me to do that. And a lot of times they don't. And a lot of times they do. This one did. If it doesn't work, just keep trying till it works. Sometimes I had to go page by page. It's part of the deal. And now that they're sewed in, one string is on one side of that string and one is on the opposite. That way when you tie, you're tying your pages onto that middle string like that. And 2 little knots is perfect. You can tie a little bow, so you have a little bow in the middle. These are all subject to change according to what you want to do with your book. But it's kind of cute. There's your little mini journal. And recently I had a swap with some ribbons. They were a messy bow. And these were so perfect to go on this little book. So I decided to add one to the book because it's so stinking cute. And now when you carry your little book with you, it looks like a purse. You don't really have to use anything else but a little messy bow. And this messy bow will give you some measurements here. They're about 4.5, 5 inches or smaller. They were so cute that I just had to use it for that. And then on the inside, you gotta hold that on there. I'm going to clip it on with a paper clip so that it stays. And then I'll remove the paper clip later. Or not a paper clip, but the same thing I used to hold the book. There we go. Now I might have to move it for that, but it's okay. I can do it. Let's keep decorating. I have some of the cutest little, I have this tea bag. That's kind of too big, but it's not too big for here. So this tea bag that we did in a swap, the tea bag like that. I'm going to just clip it in the middle. So it can be a temporary, might become permanent fixture in the book. There, that's cute. I'm going to measure this, and it is 3 inches by 5. If I cut a piece that's 3 by 5, it would be way too big. So I'm going to do 2 3/4. 2 3/4. I got any kind of paper at all will work. I have some 2 3/4 papers over here. Oh, I got some really pretty ones. Something that might go with travel or might not. Sorry for the delay. I need to find some pages. All right, here we go. We can cut these. That looks good. So 2 3/4. and by 5. I'm going to do 4 and 7/8. So it's not quite 5. Put a little ink on the edge. So it makes it stand out a little bit. Going to use that Fabri-Tac again since I didn't have a problem with it before. I'm going to make sure it looks good. Okay. Make sure you get along the edges because nobody wants to have a book where the edges come up. I don't. I want my book to be sealed correctly. There. That's pretty. And the book. And now another page back here, but this can be a little wider. So we'll go 3 and not 3/4, but 1, 2, 3, 6/8. 3 and 6/8. Nah. Don't know. How about like that? I'm going to go with a different pattern. Another way to measure this would be to go like this and then just tear it. But I have it straight cut on the other side, so I'm not going to tear it. But I will mark it with a pencil and mark it with a pencil. And then I'm going to cut it. These are one-sided 4x6 papers. They were given to me. So I'm not always sure where they actually came from. You know, what brand or who makes the paper. Just use whatever you have. Don't try to make it exactly like mine. Make it exactly like you. And it works. Oh, let me see. This is 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. I remeasured that because what I want to do is add a page or two in the pocket. And that way I will have the measurement of what goes in the pocket. Now for this, I can take this and make a pocket back here. I could do that by cutting this. Use up all my scraps. Take a circle punch. A circle. Yeah. This is a 1 3/4 inch circle punch. Kind of eyeball the center. And now you have a small pocket. Technology is moving so quickly that there are so many other ways that women are using to show how to do these things, and I'm still stuck here doing it this way. I have no idea. And because I did that, I think also I'm going to put this here. I can't because it's not going to fit straight, is it? Well, maybe it will work. You can use every bit of your scraps if you so choose, and not if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you on how you use your scraps or don't. And now that looks like the paper went all the way through. Yes. I have these two, which can be turned into tags by snipping off the corners. You take one and flip it over to measure so that it's exactly the same on each end. Or not. Now you have a tag, a couple of tags. They can go in the pocket or they can go in this pocket. There we go. Well, I actually had 3. Look at that. Let's just do that. Measure and measure. And just so that we can see them more clearly, I'm going to ink them also. You can add anything you want to your tags, or you can leave them exactly as they are, and they can be used to write on. They can be used, you can take them out and use them as a gift tag if you wanted. You can do virtually anything you want with these tags. Add a photo, a mini photo to them. There's 3 little tags in there. And you have pretty much a cute little book. This has a pocket here. The pocket isn't very deep, so I'm not quite sure what you would want with your pocket. Let me put this cute little I don't know. I made all these cute little flags. Got to figure out what to do with them. They're so cute, but anyway, there's your little purse, notebook. And I hope that you will try and make one. They're really simple, they're really fun. And that's what I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.